What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning into the video. I'm just here to start this one off with a big announcement for the channel. By the time this video comes out, this interview will already have been done, so I'm happy to announce that number 6 ranked UFC bantamweight Rob Font is going to be coming on the pod. The video will come out Thursday, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss it. I think Max Holloway proved this past weekend that the best may still be blessed, against Arnold Allen, who I personally think was like a really, I think, well-deserved, hyped-up contender. And Max, I thought, had like a good comparison. I guess I'll start here with just how similar this fight was to like his Calvin Kattar fight in the build-up, because everybody was kind of thinking like, okay, Arnold Allen might be the guy to finally solve the puzzle outside of a title fight, because I didn't even realize this until I was like reading the stats on it. Max Holloway, he hasn't lost a non-title fight since Conor McGregor, like when he fought him like way back in the day, I think like 2013. Man. So that just goes to show you, I think he's like 16-4 in his last 20, and those 4 losses are all in title fights. So that just proves that Max Holloway is still amongst the elite of the elite, and he's been in that conversation for what feels like forever now. But 249-46s, 48-47, and Holloway said his plan before was to hit and not get hit, and I think that he did a pretty good job at doing that, because he was very elusive in this fight, more elusive than I think he has been in a lot of his previous fights. But what was your takeaway for this Max Holloway fight? Because I thought it was a masterclass on the feet.
Yeah, it's for real, man. I think something I would have definitely liked to look at the catch the closing odds for this fight, because I reckon that, not to say it was a pick'em or anything, but I feel like it was like super, like it really came down to the wire. Probably a line that was moving like a bit before the fight actually started. So definitely not like probably like, I think one that maybe like maybe Max Holloway by a decision, or like one of the result bets that you can put on. Like I think that would have probably paid out pretty well. But in terms of like just an outright winner, money line pick and all that, like, man,
it looks like he was minus 190 coming in, and then Arnold Allen was plus 160. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty.
The books tend to get it right with the UFC. I've noticed.
Yeah.
There's sometimes like where I feel like I have like an edge. I'm like, oh, this guy's good. Nobody realizes that he's good, and I go to the sports books and he's like a minus 400 favorite. I'm like, fuck.
It's hard.
Yeah,
but
man.
I just loved this match. Like the second it was a book, and announced. I loved this matchup coming in. It just made so much sense for both these guys at these points in their careers. Arnold Allen, obviously, he's now in the absolute prime of his career and on his come up for featherweight gold. And then Max Holloway, he's just the guy that if there's a featherweight contender rising up that is underneath him, and Volkanovski, obviously he's got to knock them back down, by any, like, whatever it takes to get back at Alexander Volkanovski or Yair Rodriguez, or whatever it takes to get back to that featherweight belt. Like, it doesn't matter how many times, as long as he gets the opportunity. Like Max Holloway, like, you can never
I think like the second there's another champion, Max should be like the first guy to get a title shot, maybe besides like an immediate rematch for Volk. Yeah, but like
dude, it's like a cycle at this point where Max beats the next big featherweight contender, and then Volkanovski beats Max, and then we're just right back at
you know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of middleweight, like a couple of years ago when like Whitaker was kind of cleaning out the division while Adesanya was doing it at the same time, and then we got to that point where like Whitaker was the only guy for him to fight. But the difference between that is that they had only fought once before, and now these guys, Holloway's lost to Volk 3 times. So I would be shocked if he somehow gets another shot in the long run, even like in years from now. I think that maybe I don't know maybe about his next fight, but he should definitely be considering a future at lightweight. And I know he said that he would, like, if the path makes sense. And I don't know. I mean, I think there is one there. I think he's Max Holloway. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys who moves the needle. If he says he wants to go for lightweight gold, I think the UFC is going to put him in a position where he has a legit path to get there. He's not just going to be one of those guys who's going to change weight classes and he's going to be just kind of thrown to the wolves per se. I think that the UFC knows what they have in Max, and I think they want him to succeed.
So if I'm not mistaken, like because the Habib fight, because his fight with Habib never happened, he's never fought at lightweight. Anyways.
He did have the one. You might not remember it because like it's probably like 3 or 4 years old at this point, but he fought Dustin Poirier at UFC 236 for the interim lightweight title. That was like before Poirier had fought Khabib. That was the same card. That was the main event for Izzy Gastelum.
Oh
yeah, that fight was a great fight too, actually, because people forget about that. Because like Gastelum Izzy was like such an iconic fight. That main event was pretty damn good too, because those dudes were like trading.
I'm gonna have to go back home and catch that for sure.
Oh yeah,
and
man.
watch the
Great
main
fight.
event just because.
Yeah, Poirier put on a show in that one against Max, and vice versa. I mean, Max, it was a great fight. Very close, but Poirier was the deserved winner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's unfortunate in a way too, because you still feel like Max Holloway is he's still at his best in featherweight. It's just you have a literal anomaly as the champion, and now you have an interim champion as well. You got to unify the titles obviously, and then from there it's just like
that's officially happening now, right? I think they booked that.
Was it? I don't know where, I don't know when or where it's happening, but I know it's happening. And because Volk is just like whoever's next, whoever you have left to give to him, then they've most likely just got to suffer the same fate that every other featherweight has.
It looks like it's being targeted for July 8th. I don't know if it's like actually official, but looks like that's where they're trying to head with it. So International Fight Week.
Yeah, and
I love that for Volk. He deserves it, you know what I mean? Like, he's one of the best ever, I think, at this point. But people don't want to admit that yet because he's not like that household name, I guess, like a Jones, Habib, or Adesanya. But when you look at Volk's line of work, it's pretty incredible to say the least. But I don't want to take the shine away from Max much. But I don't know. I mean, it looks like Max wants to stick around at 145. I don't know exactly who would be next for him. I guess contenders could always emerge. But I'm going to take a look at the rankings real quick and see what we got popping here. I know he's never fought Josh Emmett, but Josh Emmett, I think, just got a fight book.
Yeah, it's not to say that he won't be able to give a good fight at lightweight. It's just,
Korean Zombie. That's someone who he's never fought. That would be an interesting... I think actually might have mentioned that after the fight. Not like immediately, but like in the press room. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of fights that are coming up. I know Evloev is going to be fighting Bryce Mitchell. Now, I think Bryce Mitchell's a late replacement for Ilia Topuria, I want to say. Could be wrong about that. But I know somebody had to pull out, so he's fighting Evloev now, which was supposed to happen, I want to say, like a few months ago, but then it got canceled. So that's a fight that I'm looking forward to. Maybe Max could pick off another contender out of that.
Yeah, dude.
But
I think it's just...
It'd be cool to see him fight a grappler like that. I don't know, it's just me. I mean, we've seen everything else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I think it's displayed the, best boxer in UFC.
Yeah, I think we know Max is pretty damn good on the feet at this point. I'd like to see him fight. But then again, who knows if the UFC wants to put him up against someone like that, because it's always good to have like a firefight in your main event, and Max Holloway is always exciting. So
yeah. I think it's just, maybe not undoubtedly, but I think easily that this is the most underrated division in the sport. And so whatever, I'm all for just good, especially with divisions that I like more than others. I'm all for just straight up good fights, no matter what the implications are and all that. I just love watching, a scrap like this one between Max and Arnold Allen. And
in terms of the fight itself, for Arnold Allen specifically, because I think we kind of covered Max in terms of his elusiveness, the footwork looked good, but Arnold Allen, he looked good in moments too. I think if he would have showed that sense of urgency that he had in round 5, a round earlier, that could have been a different fight.
But I get it too, just wanting to preserve that gas tank and not get hit on the chin and all of that, and then
I mean 100%. I just think I'll put it like this.
He probably went into this fight too kind of with the same game plan Max Holloway did.
Clearly,
get hit,
I think.
And I mean,
they both had great footwork in this one, in my opinion. But I think, I don't know. I just think it was a problem mostly because I think at best going into round 4, Arnold Allen was down 2-1, and on some
Yeah.
scorecards he was down 3-0. And I think, like, while I agree with you, like, he probably was trying just to preserve until that 5th round. I think that you kind of have to have like a feel for what the scorecards might be, and like, when you could possibly be down 2-1 or 3-0 in going into the championship rounds, I think that sense of urgency needs to come like a lot earlier. But
Yeah.
this is the first huge fight for Arnold Allen. I
Yeah.
think he'll be
That
back in
too.
this
Yeah.
position. To be honest with you, I like I said, I've been high on him for years now. And against Max Holloway, it's kind of hard to pick against him really at all unless he's fighting Volkanovski. But I think Arnold Allen will be back, and I hope that he gets like a fight booked against someone else in the top like 5 to 10 at 145 that'll make a fun main event or like a little 3-round fight on a pay-per-view. But I don't know. Besides that, I mean, the card was pretty good. One fight, honestly, the only other one that I really wanted to talk about was Edson Barboza hitting Billy Q with that knee, dude. Oh my god.
Vintage Edson Barboza.
There were a few good finishes on this card actually, but KC, Kansas City, they had a nice show. I mean, good crowd. I thought the Holloway chants during the main event were really fun. I always loved hearing that. I mean, those are like the types of things you don't get at the Apex.
You gotta keep finding these the right crowds.
Oh yeah, I think they're starting to finally.
Yeah.
It's about time. I think we've had enough of these Apex fights like every week. Like I get it if they want to do it like once every so often, but
it's
dude,
like, oh, we don't feel like traveling this week. So
dude, there was a solid run there, and it was like after kind of like things slowed down with the pandemic. It was like UFC Vegas like 40 through 60 something, and they were like all in the Apex besides like the pay-per-views obviously. But it seems like they're starting to open it up again.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, putting them. It was just like, I guess they're like whatever way of trying to make pay-per-views feel more important, and then getting even more ticket sales and all that. And but
I understand.
It's run its course.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like if they were to keep going with that, they'd probably start to lose some of the fans. Truly,
it was cool at first. Like even the Apex itself, like I thought it was just super like unique and stuff. And then even some of the fighters too, you could tell like maybe some of them maybe appreciated like just the smaller cage and being able to hear their corner and stuff, and just not. Some maybe not just simply not crumbling under the pressure of a live crowd. So
I think it had like a lot of novelty to it at first because you could hear the corners, you could hear the punches being landed, the ref, everything.
But some guys and girls they just come alive with thousands of people in the crowd. So just going crazy. So like. That's just how it should be. It's always how it was, always how it should be, and so it's good to see them going back.
I think Holloway is always one of those guys who comes
especially
more alive
when
with
Max
that crowd.
Holloway, especially when Max Holloway is your main event. So
yeah, that's something you want in front of thousands of fans. But that's all we really got for you guys. We just wanted to talk about the main event a lot. What it means for Max Holloway and his future at 145 or 155. But we'll see you guys next time.